Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are currently doing capitalism while the world burns. And, yeah, it's not going well. So it's going well for us. It's not going well for the rest of the world. So we're working on making some factories, ultimately, but right now we've taken a bit of a side adventure, and we are working on building up infrastructure in order to get construction speed boosts. So each infrastructure level that we do is a 20% construction speed boost, which is kind of insane. So there's Bombay, Baroda, and Central India Railway. Cool. So that's going to help with some of that. Now, 24 steel production in Bombay. That seems pretty good. What else are we super interested in? Free land forts is not bad. A lot of this is not tremendous for us, but we can get ourselves some oil, which would be nice. We do have some gain oil, so that is fine. I think we'll take the steel for the time being. So we'll get going on that. That looks great. What's our current taxable factory count? 1. Okay. So 1 taxable factory count right now. We're going to be working through a bunch of this infrastructure, though. It's going very quickly indeed. So we're going to get that done soon. We have a ways to go, no doubt about that, but we're making good progress on it. So that all seems fine for now. We would love to have more factories to throw at this, and we actually are getting more factories to throw at it. We're now up to 140 factories. So that's looking great. And we can see we're about to finish in Bastar. There we go. That's now done. We're about to finish in Sagaing as well, which is up over here, I think. Yeah, there we go. So that's all looking good. Now you can see that we only have to go down to about here. It's definitely nowhere near as much infrastructure as it looked like just a moment ago, but there's still a lot of it to go. So it's going to take a little while. Each one of these takes what, I think 3 weeks to make when we're building at full speed, so it's going to be a little while for sure. So that's absolutely fine. In the meantime, of course, we're working on Tata Steel, and that will get us 24 additional steel production, which would be good. We could definitely use that. We're going to get 2 of it, but even so, it'll still be useful. So that'll be absolutely wonderful. We need more aluminum, rubber, and steel, but we're not going to get it anytime soon, I suspect. Peaceful reunification of Spain? Well, a bit of Spain, anyway. Okay. Sure. So that's absolutely fine. We are going to continue to work on this infrastructure. Every bit of infrastructure we build is a large construction speed increase. So that is going to be great for us. Excavation 2 just finished, and we no longer get the effects of union busting. Okay, so that is probably for the best. That'll boost up our stability. We're actually up to 21% now. We also got Excavation 2. So at this point, we should be working on Excavation 4. There we go. That'll continue to boost our excavation and also give us more export potential, which should increase our number of factories as well, in theory, anyway. So that's looking fine. And as we can see here, we are absolutely making very solid progress on this infrastructure. There's not all that much more to do, but there's that steel ready to go. So at this point, I think we should... Okay, Tanzania, sure. I think we should probably go for the Assam oil at this point. Let's see here. Support artillery research bonuses. Those aren't bad, for sure. Yeah, let's just go for the oil for right now. We'll just make sure that we've got that. Exporting oil is always great, right? You always want to do that if you can, so that'll be fine. And if you can't, having a domestic source of oil is still a really, really important thing. So that's fantastic. In the meantime, of course, we're building up our political power, and that seems absolutely fine for the time being, although this is not going up by very much, to be honest. 0.37 per day isn't a lot. So that's understood. Now we can get a military-industrial organization here. Soft attack and reliability for our ammunition factory here. Defense +3. Done. We'll take 3% defense. That sounds great. Oh, do we have another trait point? We do. We could take another point of reliability. We haven't gotten those focuses yet, so that's not available. Soft attack and reliability, or hard attack and piercing. I feel like hard attack is probably our weakest link right now, so we could grab this. We don't have the trait point, I guess. It says we have a trait point. Or are we locked out of these? I bet we are. Okay. So that's understood. We'll just take the reliability then. That'll be fine. Okay, so at this point we have available war goals, but that would be unethical. We're not going to declare any wars. Improved coastal fortifications have been finished. That's nice. We're next going to grab improved land ports. Perfect. So that looks good for the moment. And we're still heavily ramping up. By the way, we're going to go a lot later than 1945, I bet. For the record. That's almost certainly going to happen. So at this point, we're definitely seeing a number of these finishing up. Excellent. So more and more of these are finishing, meaning we are constructing faster and faster all the time as we get through this. Now, I believe that that's specifically in the state that it is being constructed in. This is not affecting the output of the factories, but rather this is a multiplier on the input of the construction, if that makes any sense. So we're almost to the point of having one screen of these. In fact, no, we are. This is a civilian factory right here. Fantastic. So that was an artillery research, right? No, that was this. Okay, that's fine. We can continue to work our way up this. That'll continue to boost our infantry defense, which would be a good thing for us. Okay, we'll do that. And of course, because we are spending our military-industrial complex, we're putting our military-industrial complex into that research. So that's costing us some political power per day. And that's absolutely fine for the moment. I do not mind that. So checking in here, we're still at one taxable civilian factory. This is not surprising. We have a lot of work to do here. That's for sure. So I'm kind of thinking about moving up Bombay here a little bit. I'm considering it. But I don't know. This is a lot of 4s here. We could put just Bombay into this. Okay, so there's Assam oil and interwar artillery finishing, which is, you know, neat. We're pretty far behind on all this technology. So let's go ahead and grab the QF 25 pounder. There we go. That'll be wonderful. And we can get another national focus here. So what are we interested in? I don't think we can get the Burma Road, but the Great Indian Peninsula Railway we could. Or we could hop back over this way and start thinking about, like, the Bombay Trade Port. And that's what we're going to do for now. So we'll get going on that. That seems excellent. So we're putting the vast majority of our factories to work on building infrastructure right now, but we do have one package of factories, 15 factories, working on building in Bombay here. So we are going to be building up our setup here, and this is our coring here. We need 120 influence for this, or political power, I should say. And we also, this is going to give us 240 days of 40% consumer goods factory factor. And the compliance will need to be up high enough. Polish and Czechoslovakia are entering a union. Okay. That's awkward. But it is fine. So for now, what are we thinking about expenditures? Well, we've got 108 days till the end of the fiscal year. We're going to have to pay, or rather, we want to pay out a high amount of dividends to investors, right? That is a thing that we want to do. So for the time being, the dawn of the Colombian Concordat, yeah, that's fine. For the time being, I do want to get all of this construction done, like all of this construction done specifically. That's going to take a little while yet. So I'm thinking we bank these factories for the end of the fiscal year. And we just build infrastructure for most of this fiscal year. At least a significant portion of it. Let's see here. Yeah, this is just British Raj. So that looks good. We can lower the autonomy of a subject, and I kind of do want to do that. There we go. That looks good. And there's more of these that we can do. We'll need political power for that. That's absolutely fine. We'll bank up that political power as well. So what is going on here? Inefficient contracts. Okay. We're selling to the SSSR currently. And how is our deployment up here going anyway? Oh, it's probably inefficient because we're selling guns to the SSSR, but we are selling mercenaries to the USSR. Yeah, that's a little awkward. I'm sure it's fine. That's probably why this is inefficient, right? Actually, it's just a lack of convoys. The convoys have been disrupted. They've been sunk in naval combat. Okay. That's fine. So up to 153 factories now, and as we can see, that is definitely making good progress here. Buganda in the UK, white peace. Okay, did I just see Austria reformed the Central Powers? Okay, Austria, you're teeny tiny. That's gonna be interesting for them, I'm sure. Weird things are happening, no doubt about that. Lots and lots of weird things. So for now, we can see that we have 3 taxable civilian factories. That's great. We're very pleased about that, of course. What is this? Oh, this is a core ring. That shows up over here too. Interesting. So that's good to know. We've got 80 days at this point until the end of the fiscal year. So I definitely want to keep building our factories as they exist right now. So that is definitely going to be a useful thing. How much would it cost us to integrate one of these subjects? Now, we don't actually want to do it yet, but one of these that are currently an integrated puppet. Yeah, like you. Okay, that's going to cost like 300 political power to annex them. So that's pretty expensive. Good thing we don't need that for a while. There's Excavation 3 finishing. And you can see that our resources are definitely still struggling a little bit. Let's grab Excavation 5. There we go. That looks good. And we're going to wrap up the construction of all of this infrastructure. Certainly, I think this is going to get done this episode. So that's going to be very good. Yeah, we're making solid progress on that. So that seems great, and we're continuing to build this factory in Bombay, but at this point, our main concern is the end of the fiscal year coming up in 65 days. So we're definitely going to pay out dividends, and it's going to be high dividends, so that's fine. We're going to just continue to sit in this tax bracket. No issues here whatsoever, and we're going to want to funnel industry to our existing states. We're going to have to be not necessarily all that cautious about it either. So that's neat. We're going to be finishing up a number of these quite soon. This is looking very, very good. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with our construction, but we don't have a lot going on right now. We're kind of just waiting until the end of the fiscal year. So that's fine. We could bump this up to speed 5, I suppose. Because I don't want to do any of these purchases at this point. Can we purchase from China? Yes, we can. That would only cost 1 factory? Wow. Okay. Well, the Netherlands has capitulated. Okay, sure. The game is frozen right now. That was spicy. I don't know what that was. Probably a peace deal thing. American German. Oh, okay then. Well, things are going odd over there. No doubt about that. Very oddly. Let's go ahead and take in British naval experts. That'll be fine. Getting ourselves some form of navy is probably not a terrible idea if we're going to be running like some sort of a trading empire. It's probably not a bad call. But for now, what we're mostly interested in is just our domestic investing. And at this point, we've done what we can. To some degree, anyway. I mean, we can expand this. So, I mean, we can queue up a few more of these, for sure. QF 25-pounder has finished. Okay, that seems good. So we can queue up more of this because we finished up concentrated industry. May as well. So that's all queued. Looks good. I did not queue that at the top. I left it where it was in the queue. So that seems fine, and we have outdated equipment in production. We want to, of course, be doing the QF 25 pounder instead of the 18 pounder. There we go. We'll get that in production. We're lacking steel for that, of course, and we could actually put our steel consumption down here, but we have very, very little steel. Yeah, that's our core issue right now. We're exporting, honestly, too much steel. So currently, what I'd like to do is I'd like to grab this Improved Infantry Equipment 1, I think. So we'll get that underway. Excellent. So that looks good. And we definitely have a lack of a lot of resources. Okay, they canceled the sales contract. Sure. That seems fine. I'm not terribly surprised about that one. Where did Bombay go? Why did it go down here? Let's move it back up. There we go. I still want to be working on this. So how are we doing on that fiscal year? 34 days? Yeah, this is definitely moving on us because it doesn't start the next fiscal year right away, yet the fiscal year is 365 days. It's kind of weird. We've got a bit of a dead zone there. Very odd. This is kind of distracting to me. I'm going to move to the next track. I find the speeches to be a little bit distracting. There we go. Excellent. So at this point, we've got about 25 days until the end of the fiscal year. And checking in here, we're not in any huge rush. As we can see, we are building everything that we want to have building right now. So that's looking great. Hang on. British Empire is justifying against us. I'm going to need you to stop that, buddy. We're going to improve relations with them. Hopefully that'll get them to stop. If not, this is the United Kingdom here. I'm just wondering where the British Empire actually has nearby locations. There's improved land forts, so that's good. I want to continue to work on these. So let's grab advanced land forts. We are going to want to dig in eventually. But any moment that we spend digging in is moments that we are not capitalizing, right? So that's not necessarily ideal. So at this point, we finished up this guy. I want to grab this guy. So we'll get that going. We're getting very, very solid research here at this point. So we're about to finish up Excavation 4. And there's the British naval experts taken in. So now let's grab, like, the need for a mercantile navy. And we can also purchase destroyers and subs, and cruisers and dreadnoughts. So that's good to know as well. We'll do the need for a mercantile navy for now. That seems good. Okay, so how are we doing on that fiscal year? 14 days. We've got 5 taxable factories. This is looking good. This is pretty close to ideal. So there's extraction for finishing up. That is fantastic. Now, we could get some more production efficiency down over this direction. That is certainly an option. There's synthetic oil out over here. We've got regular oil. We could just go for fuel refining. And we're going to do that. So that looks good for the moment. Okay. So the real question is the British Empire actually planning on fighting us? Right? Well, if they are, we can ramp up pretty quickly. And just pivot right on over. So we'll see. The end of the fiscal year at this point, though, that's in 7 days. So far, so good here. So we're going to do a high amount of dividends, of course. We want that sweet, sweet bonus. And we're going to be done with all of these infrastructure constructions, certainly in the next fiscal year. 100% it's going to be in the next fiscal year. We're at this point we're still working primarily on infrastructure, but we're getting close to the tipping point here. As we can see, we've got 5 and 3. So that's looking good. So everything is looking great on that front. Okay, the fiscal year is over. We're now going to pay out a high amount of dividends to investors. So that eats up a couple of our taxable civilian factories. And now we just want to kind of funnel this industry. There we go. So we'll just funnel one over. That looks good. And we're going to continue to do that as we get these built. So that is absolutely fantastic. I just want to double check that we've got all of our infrastructure good to go here. And the answer is yes, we do. Beautiful. So the awkward thing here, of course, is we've got all of these vassal states, right? That's going to make building defenses a little bit awkward for us. It's not impossible, but it's just a little bit awkward in terms of getting them set up. But we can see pretty easily what we'd be looking to defend, right? So to that end, we need to decide how we want to do this. Well, I think I'm going to wait until after we finish this infrastructure. But I do think if the British Empire is justifying against us, I do think we should probably start to build some defenses. So there's that. But we are absolutely going to win. So the need for a mercantile navy has been finished. That's absolutely great. We can grab trade protection here. This is actually going to give us a civilian factory. Do it. We would love to have another civilian factory. That will be absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so everything is looking great on the infrastructure construction. Ireland has finally capitulated. Took them long enough. And we can actually build again out over this way. There's additional building slots that we can put in some of these locations. So that looks great. But we'll see if Britain actually decides to declare on us. But I would definitely like to get started on building some defenses. So to that end, what I'm thinking right now is we're going to queue up our land and our naval forts. And we're going to intersperse them, probably, with these civilian factories. We want to get those civilian factories built as quickly as possible, right? So that's a very, very big deal for us. But I do want to wait, if at all possible, until all of this infrastructure is finished. That would be ideal. We shall see. We can also funnel more industry, and I'm funneling this specifically to the central Indian princely states. These will get filled up eventually. And once they do, then we're interested in annexing them. I think that's the way that this is going to end up working. So we're down to our last level of infrastructure in both of these locations. That's looking great. And we can see here that the state infrastructure is multiplying our factory output by 2. So that is fantastic. Our construction speed is actually very fast. So at this point, you can see it's taking us 1 month to build a civilian factory with 15 factories working on it. That's a big exponential curve. That's a really big exponential curve. So that's great. We're going to finish up this final piece of infrastructure. It is now done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to queue up land forts. And actually, I want these at the top of the queue for now. So any of these bordering provinces that we can build these in. Actually, these do not have... This is impassable here. So we want this here, like this. This area does not require land forts unless there's a connection here. And then this area doesn't require land forts, but this does. Out this way. Okay, this does not. Nepal is here. So let's go ahead and build them around Nepal. And the same with Bhutan. However, this up here is impassable. So that seems fine. And then I'm not sure if there's a connection here or not. I'm going to build them there just in case. Okay, this is all passable through here. So it'd be something like that would be our land fort defenses. And these take like 2 days to build. So that's really not too bad. Each level of those goes very, very fast indeed. Then we can get our coastal forts going. And we want our coastal forts all along here. Any of these coastal provinces, we want coastal forts in. So this is going to be a bit of a slow process because we need so many of them, but they build incredibly fast. How fast do coastal forts build? Same speed. 2 days per level. Honestly, I'm thinking about just powering straight through these then. In that case. So that seems reasonably fine. We would just build something like that, and that should give us decent defenses. Of course, we need to man those locations. So that's understood. We do have a decent amount of manpower, and I'm going to ramp up our infantry production, although we're lacking equipment for it, and that's understood. We're going to start doing 4 divisions of infantry at this point. So that's not, going to be amazing for our... not going to be amazing for our productions here. That's for sure. We, in fact, need quite a lot more production. And to that end, we should really drop our exports. We really should drop our exports. So, let's see. Yeah, we're on special economic zones right now, which is 90%. 90% exports is insane. Resources to market is very, very high there. So that's understood. Now, we're at 2 taxable civilian factories. Let's funnel one of those into the central Indian princely states. And let's just power through all these constructions. This should go very quickly indeed. Although I still want to come all the way down here and move Bombay to the top. So we're still going to be working on Bombay, but everything else is going to get done very quickly. So we should be able to power through these. This is like 4 days. Okay, sure. Each level of these being 4 days is fine. So trade protection is a thing. That gives us a new civilian factory. And then from there, we could go down here, but we need some requirements for those. Okay. We'll get purchase destroyers and subs, unlocking the decision to purchase those. So that seems okay. And yeah, we'll just continue to work on this. And I want to funnel another factory into the central Indian princely states. So we're just going to continue to do that. This is all an investment. And as we fill these out, it's going to get faster and faster and faster, right? So that seems absolutely wonderful. So it is going to take a little bit to get all of these constructions done. For now, we can queue up a few more in Bombay, and that actually moved this back down to where it was before, which is awkward. Actually, I put it all the way at the bottom. I just clicked on it. I don't know why it put it all the way at the bottom, but sure. So we'll get those queued back up. Excellent. And we're just going to continue to power those out. So there's improved infantry equipment. Looks good. And at this point, we're going to grab the Sten gun. Do it. Excellent. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to work on our defenses. Looks like the British Empire decided to stop justifying against us, or they finished their justification and just haven't used it yet. We'll find out which, but we got to get some of these fortifications built up. That's for sure. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.